Well, hello everybody. Um, it's the end of the third week of the UNI party election where we're voting for one faction or the other faction of the same UNI party. And basically, everything is boring as all fuck within the election. Um, the two major parties have decided that there's only one group of people within this country that they have to sell policies to in order to win the election, and therefore everybody else in the country doesn't count. We haven't even heard from the cabal of coffee shop owners. That's just a little personal joke of mine, by the way. It seems coffee shop owners have a lot of sway in policy in this country. But quite frankly, unless you're between the ages of 29 and 39 and wanting to borrow money to buy a house, both major parties have nothing for you. They don't care about you. It says a lot more about the state of politics and the privilege of the people at the top of this country that nobody's got any vision. All they've got is a sales pitch to the 1.5 million Australians that they think will win them the election. Outside of a sales pitch for people wanting to buy a house, both parties have absolutely nothing. The debates have been shocking. There's no policies to fix homelessness. There's no policies for what Australia might look like in 20 years. Nobody has any vision. Nobody has any forethought. All they give a rat's ass about is getting power for the next 3 years. And you can't have government that only thinks about having power for the next 3 years and writes policy on those levels. That's how we get to where we are, where we have so many people sleeping underneath bridges, hoping it doesn't rain and they get caught in a flash flood. Yeah, the election's just one of the most disappointing elections I've seen in the whole entirety of my life. It's not even worth getting angry about anymore. Nothing's going to change in this country, no matter who wins power. Nothing's going to be done about the ever growing group of underclass we have as we become a more technological society. More and more people fall out at the bottom. That number's growing and growing and growing, and the only solution that the government has for that is to pretend we don't exist. And that's not going to end well. We have a media that's so privileged and so far removed from the actual people that they claim to be educating about the system that they don't even realise that's what the government's done. So rather than pointing out the government is only selling policies to 1.5 million Australians when there's 25 million of us, and all 25 million of us have issues with our government and everything, but we don't matter. I don't matter because I live in Kennedy and Bob Catter's winning this seat, so they don't give a rat's ass about what I think. And you don't matter because you're not one of the people who are aged between 29 and 39 in a couple who are probably trying to borrow money off a bank to buy a house. If you're not one of those 1.5 million people in this country who want to borrow money to buy your first home in this country, you don't matter to these two parties. And the only reason that if you fall in that group and you matter to those two parties is their research says that you're the only people who are going to bring them an election, win them an election. Their research says that nobody else matters but you. and their research is wrong. I was saying to a friend on the phone yesterday that I'm terrified that the media and everybody so far removed from the common person that they have no idea what we're thinking, what we're angry about. The majority of people in Australia are not trying to buy a house, their first house from the bank. We have a housing crisis in this country. It's called homelessness. Last night, over 150,000 people slept without a roof. Out of that 150,000, 20,000 of those people were children under the age of 16. Think about that. Last night, 20,000 children under the age of 16 slept without a roof, and we're talking about a housing crisis where the middle class children can't borrow enough money from the bank to buy a house. It's like, that sounds like a very, 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 very first world problem when we have children sleeping underneath bridges with their parents. My favourite place to walk my dog at the moment, I can't walk my dog because there's a homeless camp there. I'm not complaining about the homeless camp. I'm complaining about the fact that the government has allowed the economic situation of this country to get to such a bad state that we have homeless problems and people living in national parks. You want to know the last time we had people living in national parks? The Great Depression. It's like, that's where we are. We are living through the Great Depression, and I don't care if the government fiddles books and makes it look like we've got a 0.01% of growth last year. Everything's good, we're growing. Because that's bullshit. 0.01% of growth is such a small amount of growth that it's not even worth fucking talking about. The only way we have growth in the economy is they've forced up the price of everything, making the profits of big companies go up, which makes it look like we have growth. We don't actually have growth. If we've got growth, how come we have homeless people? The two things don't match up. We have homeless people because we're in a depression. Yet we haven't heard the government talk anything about what are we going to do about the millions of people who are never going to have jobs for the rest of their lives. It's about time the government and society face the simple fact that as we get more technological in society, more and more people will never have jobs for the rest of their lives. People like me, who I'm not mentally normal, that makes it very difficult for me to work for people. Therefore, chances are I'll never have a job for the rest of my life. What do you do about people like me? You can't just have us getting things like scurvy, living in nutrient deficiency, our children not having enough food so they can't get educated, so that's just another generation stuck in poverty. What solutions do our governments have for this shit? What's the point of having government if we don't have solutions for this shit? And why the hell is it that the media hasn't said anything about this stuff? Now, I was told by my friend down south that the media is full of stories about homeless people and that down south. That's not what I'm getting here. I've only got access to the ABC News because The Guardian has such a big revolving door with media advisors and people who work at The Guardian, then go and work for people within the Labor Party, and then stop working for people within the Labor Party and go back to The Guardian. I can no longer trust The Guardian as a news source because it's quite clear that the people who work at The Guardian are looking to their future as a job as a media advisor to somebody within the Labor Party, so therefore they're not going to write stories about how the Labor Party are policy deficient but so's the Liberal Party. Like, the whole upper class is policy deficient. They don't give a rat's ass about anybody below them on the ladder. And quite frankly, if your vote isn't going to give them power, they don't give a rat's ass about your life issues. Our country's going to fall into the pot because our politicians are incapable of having vision for the future and only give a rat's ass about the next 3 years. Please don't vote for the Liberal Party. They'll give people on social security the welfare card back, and we can't afford that. Outside of that, this election, I don't even see the point of going and ticking a box. It's a uni party. They're both the exact same party. Their policies are basically the same. I don't see the point in voting for anybody. But please, you've got to vote by law. Please vote for Labor, because I don't want the welfare card. I don't understand why Labor hasn't brought that up. That if you vote for the Liberal Party, chances are you'll get the welfare card back. And the only thing I can come to that is the next time the welfare card argument comes up, I really believe Labor's going to vote for it, because they're just they believe the same thing as the Liberal Party. Everybody have a good Easter. Stay safe. Please like and subscribe. And remember that if you're entitled to redress, chances are you'll win a civil lawsuit against the people. Go speak to a lawyer before you sign any redress papers. Please go speak to a lawyer about whether you'd win a civil lawsuit. Stay safe. Be happy. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.